Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. We can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun. Good morning, everybody. It is the 14th of July, and yesterday. I tell you what. So yesterday, I honestly wasn't like super interested in trading it. Because I came in and I didn't really see like, oh, of course they're going to move up, but I didn't really see like what were the catalysts moving the market and everything. And of course they started out and it was a move up, and by the time we had left, it was a good move up. Although we did kind of do that stuff in Tesla, which we'll talk about that. We'll talk about Tesla. Oh my gosh. Anyways, but man, it really turned yesterday. You come here and look at the chart. Let's look at it in the footprints. We can. Woo. Okay, so you can see here was the up move. There's a pretty big distribution down here near the opening price, came up, and now you can look when we were up at the highs, and especially after that first distribution, 17,000 is very, very high. 14, 15, okay, very, very high. And then look at the close. Very high. Of course, you get a lot on the close, but this was a particularly insane close. So tons. This may have been, based on that, this may have been, distribute to the bag holders kind of stuff, right? Look at it on the volume profile. You can kind of see here where we're at. Okay, well, we moved higher. We came back into the range. So that's kind of the thing, is that the way that this moved up and everything, it was a little bit of a weak structure. So a fallback down is not necessarily like the end of the world, but this does end up being a reversal day, okay? Come over here, the volume profile. Okay, treasuries are modestly higher, but they're still not even close to as high as they were on Friday. Oil, where's oil? Oil took a deep dip at the end as well. Modestly lower today. Gold did not spike up again. Ugh, gold is just such a weird one. The euro, well, the dollar index is still weak. Come over and look at it on this one. You can see the euro making a good move this morning. Dollar weak, relatively speaking, still kind of above that 96 area. Shall we jump on the Tesla? Talk about the Tesla thing. Hold on, let's turn on the comments here. Kenny says Tesla really messed me up when I jumped on the Tesla hype. It dumped, but then I made my money back from Novavax going up 18%. Morning, bro. Would you mind linking me to that thing you were reading on stream yesterday about market makers? Yes, sir. I wrote it. I wrote it. Well, I'll show you guys that too. I posted it in the Equities Index channel. Let me find it here. Sweet. Yeah, I wrote it, and it's kind of interesting. Okay, so let's come back here. First, let's talk about Tesla. I have to open up Thinkorswim. I don't like having it open. This is Java. Yuck. While we're waiting for that to load, let me take a few bites of my muffins. some water here. Okay, so here's Tesla overnight. They are making, so they pushed a little bit lower and now they're recovering it. They're back into this 1600 area. Remember, I took 1500 puts, so almost doubled my money. Almost doubled my money. I tell you what, when I took that trade, it was kind of like, remember that hold on a second, this is a little dark. When I took that trade, I was thinking, well, earnings. I didn't think that it was going to happen just then. Okay, so we just got to move here. That was probably earnings. Was that City? Oh no, I'm sorry. It's 8:30. We get CPI. 0.6 versus 0.6 expected. No, core inflation rate was higher than expected at spot 2 versus spot 1. And year over year, it was 1 spot 2 versus 1 spot 1. I'm actually not sure why they're moving off of that the way that they are. It's a little higher than expected. Isn't that a little higher than expected? I don't know about that one. Well, I'm just going to ignore it, okay? No, sorry, let's do this. Okay. Lost my train of thought there. Okay, yeah, so we're just talking about Tesla. I was gonna say that this right here was really crazy. And if you go on the Wall Street Bets subreddit yesterday, at the end of the day, like the top 10 posts were all about Tesla, and they were not bearish posts. They were all bullish posts. So, and when you look at the number of Robinhood traders that jumped on board that, yeah. So way too much retail on this move, then they just got dumped on. I mean, really, this move right here is like the most hilarious thing ever. Maybe they recover it today. I mean, Tesla could do that. Especially if the market makes a recovery today. But woo! That is
Kevin Wimmer says Tesla coin when?
The thing is, I don't think that we've ever had a situation where a company that big went up that much and then reversed. So I would think that something like that is not going to come back. But we can't count Tesla out on something like that. No way. We've got a couple of other things to talk about first, news-wise. Okay, JP Morgan, their earnings were good, generally speaking. They were about $3 billion above what the estimates were in revenue. And it looks like the main cause for that was that they did really good at the trading, which we would expect them to do well at trading. It'll be interesting to see how big Goldman Sachs does tomorrow, because Goldman, very much is off, makes money off of the trading as well. And the question will be, did all of the banks do well, or is there a bank that is significantly underperforming? Okay, I see Citigroup shares rise after bank reports better than expected earnings on strong trading results as well. And I don't think we've got Bank of America yet. Delta was bad. I think those are all the major ones for today.
Kevin Wimmer says Tesla coin when?
Okay, so then the other one here, I'm going to use this chart.
Kenny Desmond says special thanks to the Fed.
Right. Well, now we should talk to one of the reasons, at least that I'm seeing around there, that we turned around.
Kevin Wimmer says now we had Volkswagen short squeeze where it has been the most valuable company in the world for a day or two. Here a screenshot.
Volkswagen was a similar. I mean, was it up 15% though? Like that's like, I don't think we've ever seen anything like that. Anyways, Dudley's saying that, hey, if things continue to go well, we'll have to pull back monetary support.
Kenny Desmond says, damn.
That was one thing that kind of drove us. It kind of looks like, though, that the things that really drove us, because there was coronavirus headlines and stuff.
Went from 150 to 1,000 and reversed.
Oh, wow, really? In one day? No way. Okay, then.
Greg M says, oh damn wow.
That's a little
Kevin Wimmer says, I think
crazy.
in a week.
I was watching the markets around that time, but I don't remember that. Interesting. Anyways, okay, so the indicator that we were talking about. I kind of got I don't know. There's two ways of show. I'm showing the inventory over like the whole session. So like it resets at the start of the session, and here it is overall. We could also just do it and show it on each bar or something like that. Something like that. I think I need to make some more changes to it so that it's configurable a little bit. But the gist of it, the way that it works, and I will explain it to you. I think that I can explain it a little bit more easily than him. What he's doing.
Sunday Driver says sometimes people will put ridiculously high automated sales. A few people were probably ecstatic.
Yeah, I don't know. So you'll look at a profile like this, and then they will say, okay, here was a buy at 90. Now I want to find 200 over here. So there is 200. So that goes to 0, and that goes to 149. And then we go 31. Okay. We can clear that out. And if you have a really big one, like let's say that it was a sell side imbalance is 1,000, then we just keep going until we run out, or if we don't, then we get there. And basically the result is going to be that about half of the profile is going to get eaten away by doing that. Right? So if we're looking at a profile, it'll be like if we say that this is a buy side, right now, the middle of it is probably right here. The middle of it is probably right. Oh, come on. I want the yellow.
Kevin Wimmer says, for those who don't know Volkswagen, it is a car manufacturer and one of the 30 companies in the German DAX. This shit was crazy. Never seen anything like that. Even wilder than the Tesla squeeze.
Anyways, but if there's an imbalance, then, it's basically, it's going to give you this level that's a little bit higher as a cost basis. When I look at it, I don't really see the level itself to be very indicative, like people come back and bounce off of it or anything like that. But what I do tend to see is that like they'll tend to
Kenny
come
Desmet
back towards
says,
that
for
direction.
those who don't know Volkswagen, tongue out.
Okay. So it kind of does a good job of showing you when you've had a move that didn't really actually move the needle. So I don't know. We'll have to investigate it a little bit. I think I need to do a bit more programming.
Sunday Driver says, help me out. What does Toyota do?
They're a car manufacturer. Boy. I don't know. Here's the thing with Tesla is that Tesla is not just a car company anymore. They're doing batteries. They're doing energy stuff. They're doing a ton of different things. So it's really hard to price them just by comparing to other automakers. Should they be more valuable than other automakers? I'm not so sure about that one.
Jel Gabor says, does someone have a good oatmeal recipe for me, please? Greetings from the Netherlands.
I don't.
Kenny Desmet says, water, havermout and banan. Greg M says, oatmeal with garlic powder and red pepper in microwave.
Ozzy Knesset says, I must have missed the in-depth explanation of what you were coding.
Uzi, message me on Discord. I'll just give it to you. I don't want to give it out because I don't know if it works correctly.
Jel
I'll send
Gabor
it over
says,
to you.
thanks.
Sunday Driver says, you're asking the wrong crowd. Americans just eat it out of the packet and nuke it.
No. I use the rolled oats, and I usually put honey or brown sugar in it. Is that a good oatmeal recipe? Yeah. Pretty boring, right? The way that they came down there. Which that
Kevin
could
Wimmer
have just
says
been the
lol, it is even
CPI.
the prime example if you look up short squeeze on Wikipedia.
Oh, is it really? That's funny.
Ozzy Knesset says lol long oatmeal futures stand out.
Okay, so let me read a couple of things here come through on Twitter. Zero Hedge says consumer prices rose by the most in 11 years in June on rebound in fuel costs. So there was an initial move up when that news hit, and then they turned back down. That is a little bit more in line with what I would expect. The treasuries are moving up, even though inflation is high, because it's so bad for the E-mini. That's hilarious. This is hilarious. This move is really interesting. This is not the way that things normally move. Gold is moving up a little bit too. This is so funny. Okay. Anyways, next thing. If it weren't for trading desks to offset losses, U.S. banks are suffering through an absolutely catastrophic phase, and it is unclear when it will end. And the lower rates go, the worse it will get. So here's a question: did the Federal Reserve know and created this environment specifically for banks to shore them back up? Because that's kind of what we've been saying has been happening, although we haven't been saying it so explicitly. Sure seems to me like that's what happened.
Kevin Wimmer says October 2008 when a short squeeze temporarily drove the shares of Volkswagen on the Xetra DAX from €210.85 to over €1,000 in less than 2 days, briefly making it the most valuable company in the world. Kenny Desmet says Queen Elizabeth is now making gin to help with the UK economy. I2 Yanth Great says morning. I2 Yanth Great says fintech is destroying banks, they probably knew.
Sunday Driver says yes. They pulled shenanigans in 2008 to help banks get shored up.
Kevin Wimmer says wait, Zero Hedge is back? Had to look for some other people to follow since they got banned.
No, they got unbanned. They've been unbanned for a month now almost. Yes, sir. I tell you what, the Zero Hedge posts so much useful information.
Kenny Desmet says I am not even kidding about Queen Elizabeth's gin.
That is okay. Anyways, they'll post like these research notes from all of the major banks. I don't know anywhere else that you can get this information as a retail trader. Interesting to me, but yeah. This is just me, or does do I look like dark today? I don't get what the deal here is. I look dark to me. I'm not gonna worry about it. Look at all of the circles on the way down. We have to look at our footprint here. Well, so let's go back. What happened? CPI came out, said that prices were rising because of what? Fuel costs? Anyways, the E-mini didn't like it. E-mini sold. Treasuries
I2
moved
Great
up.
says ARK Invest predicted these bank shenanigans in a YouTube vid 2 weeks ago actually.
Sunday Driver says seriously, does Twitter just about suck these days or what?
Well, they let him back, so what else? What more can we say? This bothers me too much. Why am I being so ADHD today? That's a little better. JP Morgan says June set record for auto loan originations. Really? That explains a lot. Because I was sitting here like, why am I not getting the best car deals? Stocks flattened since yesterday's close. CPI coming up. Not sure how that could move bonds. Materials, since the data is so messed up right now. Fed speakers late day have my interest Baynard and Bullard. Golden Cross arrives. Are the Bulls safe? Is it? Wait a second. There's just so much going on here. I feel I don't know. We're still a ways away from that moving average. Remember when we bounced off of it? What was it? The 200-day moving average? Must be talking about a cross of like 50 and 100 or something. We'll read the story. 50 200-day crossover is bullish, but with markets facing one of the worst earnings declines on record, could overly exuberant investors be walking into a trap? Yes. Okay. So, but I don't know. 2 days into earnings, it doesn't look so bad, does it? I want to know, when does Bank of America release?
Kevin Wimmer says bot didn't like me the first time, so trying again. Wait, Zero Hedges back? Had to look for some other people to follow since they got banned. Since when?
Yeah, it's been about a month. It's been about a month since Twitter unbanned them. They said it was just a misunderstanding. I need an earnings calendar with the times on them.
I2 Yanth Great says except it says about COVID article lol. Kevin Wimmer says misunderstanding that took like what, 4 to 5 months, lol. I guess gonna have to unfollow someone and take back Zero Hedge.
Right. Well, it's been nice having him back. Everything that I get
I2
is
Yanth Great says banned cause COVID article lol.
everything that I get is just before the bell or after the bell, and it doesn't give us the actual time of the call. I want to know, when is Bank of America's earnings? Do you have a calendar that actually gives you the specific time that the earnings call is? That's not going to be it. Press release. Here we go. MarketChameleon.com. Okay. So, are these times that it is giving us Eastern time? It must be. But that means that Wells Fargo is already out. Sorry, Bank of America, I think maybe it's tomorrow or something. Where is Wells Fargo? Here we go. Bank had a net loss of $2.4 billion in the second quarter, or a loss of 66 cents a share, worse than the 20 cents a share loss expected by analysts surveyed by Refinitiv. The revenue of $17.8 billion was also weaker than analysts' estimate of $18.4 billion. Bank announced a new quarterly dividend of 10 cents a share, deeper than expected reduction in its payout. They may indicate the bank's pessimism about the coming year. They're down 4.1% in pre-market trading. Okay, so here we have a good example. Probably the banks, like JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Probably Citigroup to some extent too. Right, we had Citi, right? Yeah, we had Citi. What was Citi again? Yeah, stronger expected earnings on strong trading results. Yep. So all of the banks that had good trading are doing well because of good trading, but all the banks like Wells Fargo that aren't as deep into that stuff don't look good. Okay. So the treasuries are down here. Or sorry, the treasuries moved quite a bit up. It's so funny because CPI being high would normally cause the treasuries to sell, right?
Young Hong says hi all. Kevin Wimmer says what's that thing between ZB and S chart?
What's that thing between the ZB and ES chart? Don't know what you're talking about. Young Hong, that's a new name. Good morning.
Kevin Wimmer says I mean Dom.
Oh, right. That is the power meter. So in Jigsaw, when you come down in here, there's power meters, strength meter. So it's showing me the cumulative depth and the cumulative adding pulling. So something that you may notice. So right now, see how it's going back and forth while it was pretty low. So what's happening is there's actually some orders pulling down in here. And this one over here is just the volume overall. So like we could reset it here. Could get an idea of whether there's more net market buying or market selling. Okay, so now that I think we're all caught up on what the market situation is, I want to make a change to my script here. I'm a little torn about showing, because I have no problem showing you guys this code, but I don't know if the guy that was sharing it really wanted people to make it. I don't know if he realized. You know what? Screw it. I'm just going to show you. Okay, inventory. I'm not going to go through the code, but you will see it here on the screen.
Mayor Poir says can you explain a bit about delta divergence?
Hold on. Let's do this first. This should be short. Want to look at a different indicator here. Yeah, this one. So it has like a trillion properties. And we come down into here. Is cumulative. Thoughts. Oh, right. Actually. Oh, no. We can do it this way. Or not is cumulative. Then it'll reset every time. Okay.
Kevin Wimmer says S seems to go for yesterday's low.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know if this is really driven by all of the data that just came out as much as it is just a reaction to what's going on. But I'm just going to let it play out. I'm not terribly in a rush to get into a position right now. Okay, so I want this on our 5-minute, and cumulative should be unchecked. And the plot should be, instead of a line, I want a hash, I think. A hash that will be like magenta. Yeah, no, that's not going to work because I don't have tick replay on this chart, and I really probably don't want to.
Kevin Wimmer says almost 9K volume candle in the 1-minute chart. Surely some juicy stops there.
We'll do it. We'll do it on this one. Yeah, right there to yesterday's low. They really went through it, didn't they? Yeah, so that's a little better. We'll make this the hash magenta 2 pixels. Cool.
Young Hong says
Oh, no,
pre-market
that's
is looking pretty
interesting.
bearish.
They were trying to buy it up that whole morning, and then when the news came in, and they just dumped on them. So interesting. Let me show you. So the purple lines that you see on each bar is what the market maker cost basis was according to my indicator. So right here, for instance, you can see that they did pretty good on that one. But then look, the market maker's cost basis was towards the upper
Kevin Wimmer
end of
says
it.
yeah, this 3,162 area was such a wall. Had one long there, but they couldn't get above it.
Yeah, 3061 exactly. So like here there were the market makers were buying it up essentially and then just puked on them. So sad. So sad for the market makers. I feel so bad. Okay, but that also gives us reason to believe that we could come back to the 61 area quickly. And in fact, if I see the right thing, I'm seeing offers messing around. Well, I probably should hold off a bit. A senior administration official says they plan to have 300 million doses of vaccine ready for the beginning of 2021 as a part of Operation Warp Speed. The official says we will be actively manufacturing by the by the end of summer. Cool. Okay, so based off of the huge bender that we just had, I'm looking to see a potential 50% retracement. So like getting into the 50 area. Something like that. This DOM down here, I think I want it to go back to oil.
Uzi Knesset says check your cost basis thingy on ZB.
See if 180.12 is significant.
Okay. Hold on a second. Where do I not have it on here? Oh, there it is. Like, do I have it on there? Okay. Well, that little move was not encouraging. Need to add on the tick replay. The indicator errors out on it. Unrenderable values. That one I thought was going okay.
Uzi Knesset says no lol.
Yeah. Why would it error out on a treasury? I know where it's erroring.
Sunday Driver says Peter Schiff, June federal budget deficit nearly totals entire 2019 shortfall.
Oh, maybe I don't. We're going to have to go deep. Wait, why do I still have a... Okay. That's kind of weird. Gonna debug it here. It's
Uzi
just
Knesset
telling me
says
it
look at all that
results in
absorption at 16.
See, wouldn't it make sense if the market maker
unrenderable
was stacking
values.
offers there to bring their average sell price closer to the market?
Well, that's not working out at all. It did not break when I ran it. Did I not attach it to the right spot? What the heck? Error on calling calculate min max. So curious.
Ozzy Knesset says now that huge bid is creeping up.
Talking about the one at 14.
Ozzy Knesset says just like I talked about yesterday. Ozzy Knesset says that bid was a 12.
So close that one.
Ozzy Knesset says offers absorbed buying at 16 over 1,000 contracts.
Now market maker average sell price higher, then big bid moves up 2 ticks closer to marker.
Chopsticks 7 Life says fell asleep midday yesterday, woke up with my portfolio dropping almost 35%, sad face.
You woke up and your portfolio dropped 35%? Man, you're too much in the hot stocks, man. Kind of wait and watch this thing. Trying to figure out where this is coming out. That it's going to be.
Ozzy Knesset says market maker expects big selling up here near the high after eating all those aggressive buyers at 16.
He bids out at 14 to offer liquidity to aggressive sellers.
Chopsticks 7 Life says had a bunch of calls, ahahaha, so now I'm team cash for a bit.
I think you're probably right, Uzi. You can kind of see how
Ozzy
they're
Knesset
kind of.
says not to be combative or anything, but tell me how that doesn't make sense, LMAO.
Well, it seems to me like they're expecting this to turn back down. That they think that they don't think that they can hold this price. Or rather, let's go back. The
Ozzy Knesset
news.
says kinda neat, huh?
Yeah. No, I think you're right. There's kind of an issue with looking at it this way, but we'll get into that. So the piece of news that we had was the CPI.
Chopsticks 7 Life says didn't doll miss earnings by like 100% lol.
Yeah, Delta Airlines was really bad. So the piece of news that we had was the CPI, and we found that the consumer price inflation, that's what it is, right? Was higher than we expected in the last month and year over year. So here we're in a recession and prices are increasing on us. I don't know why it took that long. That was dumb, but whatever. Anyways, the E-mini is now upset about that. That because this isn't good for like consumers and people buying. So normally high inflation, slightly higher inflation would be bad for treasuries because it means that they can't keep pumping money forever. But in this case, it ends up being good for treasuries because the equity market dislikes it so much. So the treasuries buy up, but that is a temporary measure. They're going into the treasuries in flight to safety. So I think it makes complete sense that the market maker would be nervous about holding a bunch of long inventory up here, you know?
Luis Alarid says I used to do that all the time, now I drink coffee while trading chop.
Uzi Knesset says, see,
I think the market's gonna go higher, that's why the market maker bid so high to liquidate his short inventory. It's an assumption, lol, let's see tongue out.
Hmm. In ZB, it could also be a spread trade, right? So, and that's what we needed to get into is that the issue with looking at it that way is that certainly is the way that it works, but they have the different ways that they can do it, right? Like, there's no reason that he can't use market orders if he wants, for instance. Like, you know, there's so many different ways that they can split their orders up and everything else like that that we may think that we see it based off of a certain yeah. We might think that it's that way based off of a certain metric that we're looking at. But you're going to find that the market will like switch between those based off of which strategy the market maker decides to use that day. If that makes sense. So I think we should be really careful about making assumptions like that. That's why I think that the best is when we look at what the fundamentals are that are driving it and try and put it in context to be like, what do we want? What should we expect them to do based on the fundamentals? And then if we see that they actually are doing that, then we can take the trade. Here in the E-mini, I think that they're going to turn back, but okay, so now that whole thing kind of went through, let's try this again. I need to tell it to not break on that stupid bug. Or I need to just shut everything down and rebuild that module. Okay. Okay. It's giving us a good number. Oh no, it's not giving us a good number. Well, it's giving us something in the 178s right now. Maybe that was just yesterday. Yeah, maybe. Hmm. When I took that long around 138, I wasn't just seeing things. There was something happening there.
Undefined says, Seth, is this a demo account or Top Step?
We're using a demo account here for the summer. I don't trade the combines anymore. I think it's pointless. Why would you trade the combine when you can just start a live account?
Kevin Wimmer says, long 31, 50 gonna be out before open.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking right
Kevin
there.
Wimmer says, and stop B.
Dang it. Okay.
RJ Wheel says, especially now with micros.
Yeah. Now that micros are there, the whole combine setup.
RJ Wheel says, why do Top Step? Kevin Wimmer says, nice 15 ticks and out.
I have to say, I'm really bothered by the people out there that are really pushing things like Top Step right now. And I'm noticing that there's a couple of channels. Like, I watched what they were doing. There was this one guy. They were mentioned on a thread. I think it was on Futures.io or something. They're like, oh yeah, this guy, he does well and he makes money and he's been making money through Top Step and everything. And I go there.
Kevin Wimmer says, because you only have micros for equities. Some people trade natural gas, oil, like me, gold, and so on.
Yeah, that's true. But he was trading equities. So this guy, he was trading equities, and his whole channel was basically set up to push Top Step combines. And he had like the affiliate code and everything else like that, which it's totally cool to have an affiliate code. But like, you know, I have an affiliate code because for some people, a combine does make sense, but I don't want to push people into combines because I just don't think that it's the best option for them usually. Anyways, his whole thing was set up to do combines, and you look at the way that he was trading, he had a strategy that it would get you funded and everything, but it was going to blow up. He was taking bigger losers than winners, essentially. It really bothered me. And there was all these people saying, oh yeah, the way that he trades is great. And I didn't say anything. I was like, I've already given the people enough shit this week. Well, Undefined, I trade live all the time, but I tend not to do it in the summer. I actually do kind of have to change things up a little bit because I wanted to start a new account. So I was saving up $1,500 to start up a new account over on, what's it called? Edge Clear. My mind's going to mush today. I must just not be on today. Yeah, I was saving up to start a new account over at Edge Clear, and then this financial juice thing came along, and I was like, well, I got to take advantage of that. So, and that's about half of it. So, I guess I might be on AMP for a little bit longer.
Kevin Wimmer says, so yeah, for equities, I would recommend the micros, but combines can make sense for people that don't trade equities exclusively and don't have a big enough account. Like margins for oil increased.
Well, here's the bigger thing, is that the combine only makes sense if you know you're going to pass it. So, I personally, I think that the performance parameters that they ask you to meet over there are ridiculous. They and you can see it in how the big people that are pushing it right now are trading it. They're taking bigger losers than their winners, essentially taking on excessive risk, and it will work for long enough to get funded, and then you'll be funded for like 6 months, and then market volatility comes along and wipes you out. And it's the same thing with like the oil and everything, right? Like, you have to have a really amazing
Kevin Wimmer
strategy
says, yeah, but that is the people's fault.
to keep that.
You know the
for a long
rules
time.
beforehand. Can trade them on your own sim and see if you pass, and after you manage to adhere the rules for some time, you take the test.
No. You cannot. You can't make like 50% of your money every month. Like when you look at what they're looking at for their drawdown and everything else. Hold on. Anyways, they want you to make like a 3,000 target with like a $2,000 drawdown or something like that, right? So they say this is how big your account is, and if you try and do like a 1% on that and everything, it doesn't really work out when that's what the drawdown is. If you took it as your drawdown would be the point at which you ran out of margin instead, okay, then you're really talking about trying to make $3,000 off of, $2,000 in margin. So you're looking of a 50% gain, something like that. One and a half, 150% gain every month is not realistic. So that's what happens is you take excessive risk. Probably the correct way to do it is if you're really smart and you really know what you're doing, trade excessive risk just to get funded, and then once you get funded, back off. And we see what they do. Would they actually let you continue to trade that way? I don't know. Well, so even if it's oil, I don't know.
Ozzy Knesset says ZB is creeping up.
Yeah, it is. Well, and look, they're doing like a level break at 14.
Kevin Wimmer says, well, if I understand it correctly, this is the initial drawdown. Like if you take like those 50K accounts and have them up to 55K, you have 5K drawdown.
Oh, well, if that's the case, then they changed it, and I have some combines that I could have passed. Because I had one in particular that I made like $2,000, and then I drew down $2,000 and busted. They just took that 14 like it wasn't even there. I'm gonna have to debug this in NinjaTrader differently later because I need to rebuild something and it's too big of a hassle right now. I think that they're gonna try and make an opening push lower, and that's what they seem to be front running at the moment. I still feel like not on top of everything for some reason.
Ozzy Knesset says, so we saw the market maker iceberg 16 on offer with their bid at 12. Once they absorbed 16,
They moved their bid to 14. Sellers trying to play the high sold into it, clearing short inventory for
Ozzy Knesset says, and market goes higher,
killing sellers who sold to market maker lol.
Yeah. It does feel to me like a lot of this is just um technical movement.
Undefined says, do you feel like you've found your edge in the treasuries?
No, in fact, the further along I get, the more I realize that there's critical pieces of information that I really need to be able to trade the treasuries effectively that I don't have. So the number of trades that I think I can actually effectively take in the treasury, I think is less and less and less. Like right now, I don't really feel like I can take the treasury. I'm not sure how high it can go from here. Uh, there's not really anything stopping them, you know? Really? Okay. Just gonna keep an eye on that. Nope, that was bad. Yeah, that didn't quite work out the way that I wanted it to. Okay, I'll try it one more time. Right here.
Uzi Knesset says, well shit,
I guess I should have traded that assumption, haha.
Kevin Wimmer says, am I the only one here who prefers the overnight session in the Amini to the regular one?
I don't, not at all. I don't, there we go. So when I took that, I was expecting to see a push down in reverse. And then I saw absorption right at the beginning, so I took it. But now in retrospect, I shouldn't have taken it, right? Okay. Better. Somebody stopped out hardcore there. That was ugly.
Uzi Knesset says, and it's funny.
Once the sellers get really aggressive, market makers start pulling their bids to FOMO us turds.
And then they pull back a quick 4 ticks, right? This is why I'm like, following other people, it just doesn't work. I really just don't think it works overall. There's definitely something too that there are big players out there that can move
Uzi
the
Knesset
markets,
says,
and
the
if you
wonders
can
of
get in
having
line with
billions of
them.
dollars to play with LMAO.
But I think that if you're going to play that game, you have to be taking it before they do. You have to be able to say, what is the big guy going to actually do here, and get into it before you can see it.
Kevin Wimmer says, that's why I don't hold position into open lol. If I had hold my long at 31.50 would have gotten ugly. Rather take quick 15 ticks or get out break even.
Yeah. Well, and you have to have some sort of fundamental idea about what is going to happen on the open, right? Okay.
Kevin Wimmer says, yeah, crazy shit lol. Undefined says, do you ever see yourself eventually giving up on trading and pursuing something else?
Nope. Nope. Or there'd have to be some pretty significant change to the trading world to make that happen. I guess one of the things that you have to think about is
RJ Wheel says, TV game show host.
TV game show host. I guess if there's other opportunities that can show up, and I
Uzi Knesset
could
says,
end up
porn
doing
star.
something else for.
Kevin
No.
Wimmer says, I think he wanted to be some sort of assassin or hitman wink wink.
No. No, but if something came along let's say that CNBC wanted me to be on their network or something like that, and I couldn't really trade anymore, then maybe in a situation like that, but extremely unlikely, right? My goal is to get good at trading. But another thing that you have to consider is that when I'm looking at this, my perspective right now is that the information that we get from the market is of questionable utility. It can only tell you so much. So the thing that I'm looking at is I'm looking to understand the fundamentals, like all of the news stories, right? And that makes the game a very, when you start looking at it from
Cozy
that
Knesset
perspective,
says
the
there's
game is
always
very
going to
different.
be an element of luck.
Yeah. But when you look at it from that perspective, the market is very different, because then the market is a matter of reading a lot of news and understanding what's going on and trying to predict how it's going to go based on the fundamentals, rather than just trying to mechanically trade some technical pattern that I've backtested, right? So when you look at it like that, then it's like, okay, well, then my success in trading is 100% up to me, because it's 100% up to how well I understand the market.
Undefined says honestly you're looking at way too many things and overcomplicating it too much.
And I think that the rest of you guys look at shit that doesn't matter, and you focus on one tiny little thing that's not going to actually give you any kind of a predictive edge. The market is complicated. It sounds good in our minds, like the keep it simple sounds good in our minds because we want to believe that. But the market is not simple, guys. It's not simple. Just my opinion. Dr. Fauci, it's a false narrative to take comfort in a lower rate of death. Okay. You know what? So can I vent about something here? It changes. Well, no. Let's stay on this subject for a little bit. I say you want to trade on fundamentals. That's my simple take. That's the simple explanation of my
Cozy
take.
Knesset says pretty sure it's an abject reality that the market is
Complicated LMAO.
Yeah, it
RJ
totally
Wheel
is.
says I'm the opposite. I think it's simple, just a complex lemonade stand.
So I think it is unrealistic to look at something that is so intricate and complicated and involves millions of peoples and the opinions of millions of different people and an infinite array of unique situations, and then be able to say that I can look at one tiny little thing that has to do with price and expect to make money from that. I think it's unrealistic. Market's complicated. But if it comes down to understanding the market, your success, if you're trading off of fundamentals, and we say, I look at fundamentals, I look at everything, then my ability to make money from the market is 100% related to how well I understand it. That's really what it comes down to. So then at that point, the success really is up to me. It's not up to, oh, here's some indicator that I just stumbled upon that happens to work all the time. And whether I'm successful or not really comes down to whether or not that thing keeps working. Right? That's the way that technical analysis goes, right? You backtest something, you think you got it figured out, and then it changes. And then you're not successful anymore. But if it's based off of fundamentals, then it's up to you. Hold on a second. They're talking about stuff about the South China Sea. Top U.S. diplomat for East Asia, David Stilwell, says nothing is off the table when asked about the possibility of sanctions in response to the Chinese coercion in the South China Sea. Thank you. Good. Anyways, the thing is I think one of the things that we should be cognizant of is that maybe some of our views about the markets are based on what we want to believe and not really what the reality is. For some reason, most retail traders want to believe that they can predict what's going to happen based simply off of price. I don't agree with that. I don't think that price is irrelevant. It's just one factor, and frankly, a pretty small factor in a whole slew of other things that move the market. And we want to believe that we can just look at one thing and be successful because there's so many other things that we don't really know. And so if we want to be successful, then we say to ourselves, well, there's no way that I can learn all of those things. So in order for trading to be possible, I have to be able to be successful without knowing all of those things. And I think that it's just a mindset change. It's like, okay, I understand that those things matter. So what am I going to do about there's all these things that I don't know? Well, gonna have to learn them. And so what is the mindset change that you've got to be able to make to be able to be successful with that sort of a thing? If I'm trading off of the fundamentals, the only thing that is between me and success is understanding the market correctly. That's a powerful mindset change, I think. Yeah. Read your comments.
Kevin Wimmer says one thing I see is that to many people short equities. It's much
Oh, yeah.
nice to play long 99 out of 100 times.
That's true.
Less stressful
That's true.
lol. If you love short, go trade oil or natural gas. 923098580 says how many trades do you take in a day on average?
Depends on if I'm winning
Undefined
or
says
not.
you're looking at it from the wrong perspective. Obviously there is many factors and parameters that move the markets, but the key is to find one thing and just patiently waiting for it to happen again.
Why?
Guido Sledden says SOS, that's how you got rich. Undefined? Undefined says no but consistent. Guido Sledden says good luck. Kevin Wimmer says I agree with Undefined. Keep it simple, most important thing is psychology and money management. When I see guys hold into losers and risk a whole account with one trade. Consistency is key. Luis Alarid says I'm successful now more than ever, I focus mainly on the MES.
So let me try and approach this from a different direction. Hold on. That's powerful squeeze we've got going here. The squawk is talking. I need to find something to so that you guys, so that it doesn't just seem like I go silent for no reason. But anyways, okay, so let's start with this one. I don't get you wanting to trade fundamentals on a short-term basis. So think of it less as fundamentals and more news. Okay. But when I say fundamentals, what I really mean is information that isn't coming to me from my data provider, right? It's not just price, volume, and orders. Okay. So primarily that is going to be economic numbers, news releases, Donald Trump tweeting. I don't understand people wanting to trade anything else. Like, gosh, guys. We've all seen it. Donald Trump tweets and you're in a position and it screws you over. Why not just wait for Donald Trump to tweet on something and then play that instead? I don't understand. For some reason, we think that we can't play that game, but I think that as a retail trader, I think that you can actually be really successful at that game because you're so small. You're so small. What you do, they don't care. You can get in and out wherever you need to. It's a really big advantage in those kinds of situations. Okay. But going back to the simpleness, I know you guys. I'll read all your comments. I will. Going back to the simpleness of it, if it was really down to like finding that one thing and just trading that one thing, okay, then the correct way to trade would be to just create a robot and have the robot do it for you. And yet, I have back tested so many different things that people tell me works and whatever. And when I go and I back tested it, it never turns out the way that they think. A lot, very, very common, and this is why it just irks me so much, is that often the reason that people are making money from those strategies is because they're taking on excessive risk. By the way, speaking of taking on excessive risk, I should move my stop. So, in fact, I might just take it off here. Yeah, sure. Because I made what I want for the day. And they do look like they're gonna pull back here. So, and I wanted yesterday's close. So that was the trade. It played out. It was good. It was good. Maybe I should have held both of those contracts all the way through, but it's fine. Those trades that I took at the beginning, though, I shouldn't have taken all those. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay. Where was I? Where was I? Oh yeah. So why wouldn't you just trade a robot? You know? Well, the thing is with robots, those robots are out there like backtesting strategies, like millions of strategies every night. Like, can you imagine that? Like, I just think I can go through and I can have my computer here through NinjaTrader 8 create and backtest like 1,000 strategies overnight. There's more strategies than I think I could go and do in a lifetime, and they can do it in a single night. And that's on just a regular consumer processor. And there's these firms out there that have these huge data centers that just do nothing but backtest new generations of their algorithm. Okay. What makes me think that I can play on that game? I don't think that I can. But just look at one thing. Well, but I mean, if it's just one thing, then the robots are going to do it, and the robots are going to be better at it than me. So I think that for me to have a edge as a discretionary trader, one of the edge advantages that I have is that I can do forms of analysis that the robots can't. The robot can't sit down and say, oh yeah, they're moving because Peter Navarro said that the China trade deal is done, but he said it on Fox News in the evening and it's not a major policy change and the market should come back. Robots can't do that analysis, and you can. And that's an advantage that a human can have. So I say that if you're going to trade discretionarily, is that the way that you say it? With discretion, that part of your edge is going to have to be your better and more complete analysis that the robots can't do, which means that you're going to have to have a complicated, nuanced analysis that's going to include information beyond just the information that your broker sends you. That's my point. So let's go back here. Find a bunch of comments.
Sunday Driver says my success has been to find a long-term structural pattern and buy and hold. I don't screw around with daily moves. That usually gets me in trouble.
Well, you're not day
Kevin Wimmer
trading.
says at Undefined that's what the Axia guys do, and they have some pretty good success. They use news if they want to play breakouts, like strengthen or scratch their ideas and so on. Undefined says then just look at the traders in London from Axia Futures, they seem to be doing pretty well with your approach.
Yeah, both of you guys.
RJ Wheels says 50 PCT of the time the tweet is in your favor. Undefined says at Kevin Wimmer I know, but they have these fancy Reuters and Bloomberg terminals and are obviously not some small retail traders. I'm not saying it's impossible for retailers, but it seems pretty tough. Kevin Wimmer says I disagree. There is a big difference if a big firm use robots to get like 1,000 contracts into the market, or if I just find something to get my 2 to 4 lots into the market.
Sunday Driver says you have to use your human brain and focus on long-term fundamentals. The robots don't think like that. They do day-to-day activity and make lots of money on smaller moves.
Yeah, no, you're right. But I mean, that's the bigger thing, is that I've tried a bunch of strategies and I really haven't been able to find something that I really think is consistent, and that I would be confident in making a living off of. I find strategies that in market regimes do well, but man, it so much of what happens and what the thing will take is ends up being random. Whereas with the way that I trade, I don't think I've had like a losing overall thesis.
Kevin Wimmer says, Seth, I can give you a strategy for the overnight session if you want to backtest it, lol.
Yeah, we'll do that. I've done that. I people are always sending me them, and anytime that people will send me them, I'm still gonna backtest it for sure. I'll still do it. But for my trading during this, these are the things I'm gonna go at. It's interesting. They're gonna go for the low again.
923098580 says neural networks are being used in fundamental analysis for long-term trades.
Mm-hmm. Well, so one of the things that's interesting is I've been kind of researching a little bit about how a lot of these quant funds work because we always think of the quants as like, oh, okay,
923098580 says by big firms.
are quants doing technical analysis? But what I'm learning is that they're doing technical analysis on fundamental events. So what they're doing is they're saying when
Kevin
X
Wimmer
event
says,
happens.
sure, gonna write a quick rule set and send it to you on Discord.
Okay, yeah. As long as the entries and exits are well defined, it's usually pretty simple for me to put together. But that's so one of the things that drives me crazy is I want so this thing that I wrote, the inventory one. The thing that I liked about it was complicated. I had to write a data structure a certain way, and I had to write a for each loop in it. Right? These are somewhat complicated things. They're in for a computer programmer, they're actually really not complicated at all. But they're much more complicated than 90% of what we're using in the retail world, and I liked it. And yet, I wrote it in an hour. It's like this is the other thing is I really want to come up or be involved. I don't think I can come up with them. I really don't. I think I would have done it by now. But I really want to be involved in creating an indicator or a strategy that is truly complex, that has truly complicated, innovative algorithm that is completely unlike anything that I've programmed before. And
Undefined says, can you please go more into what the quants are doing and what you researched?
yeah, so I'm seeing a lot of what they'll do is they'll say, okay, well, so probably the easiest example is going to be like an economic number. Is they'll go and they'll say, okay, when the economic number, this is the consensus expectation, and this is how much it outperformed by, and this is how far on average they went based off of that information. And so what they're kind of doing is they're finding ways to quantitatively express the way that the fundamentals are changing, and then determine if the market direction is really what they think it should be. So it's kind of like going into here. I sit down and I say, okay, X thing happened that should move the market up. Well, I'm kind of using a thesis, but I don't really know on average how well that tends to work. And that's what a lot of the quant funds are doing. Is they're confirming if they're back testing to see if their understanding of how fundamentals impact the market is actually true. Okay, so there's a little bit of absorption there at 27. It does look like they're gonna try and move back up, but because they made a new low, I'm not so excited about it. Is Tesla fiddling around still? Let's just open Thinkorswim.
Undefined says, can you please go more into what the quants are doing and what you researched? Undefined says so. It seems to be quants are a little less focused on the day-to-day and more on the long term, right?
I think of that generally speaking, yes. It does seem that way. One of the things that you got to understand is that the really big money makers, they have so much money that they really can't make a significant profit off of short-term stuff, right? You want to make a significant profit off of short-term stuff, then that's when you're going to be into high frequency trading. And the edge in high frequency trading, a lot of that is just the speed of execution, being able to get in line the first and stuff is a significant part of that. Okay, so I think that my data here on yeah, it is delayed data. I'm like, I think that I'm delayed on Thinkorswim. Probably not quite as high. Yeah. So I won't do it that way. Will can I see it live on TradingView? If I changed the main one to oh no, not future stock. TSLA. Yeah, it is. So also 10 minutes delayed. That's unfortunate. Well, we'll just kind of have to watch it. Keep an eye. It sounds like Tesla and everybody else is rolling over again. Now they're coming back to the open. Question though is this, does that mean that is a head, that the upside that I was just a part of is the head fake? What do you think, guys? Ooh, well, I don't like the way that it acted there. Volume profile, let's look where they're trading. Okay. So it's pretty close to what the volume profile is right now. Interesting. What about, where's my cumulative delta chart? Oh, what isn't that? Didn't I put that on here? I did put that on here. Why is it not? Oh. Oh. Now, ever since the ZB one, you know how I was getting like undisplayable. It kind of broke that one. Okay, so they are. So I can see that the market makers are still having an average position that's really high. And now my indicator at the moment doesn't show me the current bar, but let's let them sort it out. I think that we kind of have enough edge here to be able to say that there's going to be some moves up and down, and I can't really say for certain if the day is going to end up positive or negative. Anyways, there was something that I wanted to segue into. Oh yeah, it was because of this Fauci thing. So have you guys been seeing that the media is starting to pay a lot of attention to this Fauci thing because the administration is kind of getting fed up with him and starting to question some of his decisions and stuff? So I never really paid a whole lot of attention to him because it seemed to me like the things that he was like, that the media said that he was fighting the administration on seemed like things that were kind of trivial. But I have come around now to the idea that this guy is intentionally just contradicting what the administration says. It really feels like that to me. Because yesterday he said that the reason that we're having a rise in cases is because we didn't completely shut down. Like, that is like word for word what he said. He expanded on it, but he said because we didn't shut down. I think what he's trying to say is that we didn't
Sunday Driver
have.
says Fauci said at first we
Yeah.
didn't need masks. Fuck that guy. Trump should fire him.
Well, I understand the masking things. That one's understandable. But, man, how can you say that we didn't shut down? Man, I think what he's trying to say is that we didn't have a nationwide, declare martial law. Everybody has to be locked in their houses across the whole nation until for 3 months. And I think that's what he's saying we should have done or something like that, which is really, frankly, ridiculous. But he says we didn't shut down. And I'm sitting here like, what do you think that we've been doing the past 3 months? Like the last 20% of the economy, my freaking sister died. Like the Americans made a lot of sacrifices. And then you're saying, but you guys didn't actually, he's acting like we didn't do anything. What would make you say that? You're either letting the media goad you into saying dumb things, or your judgment is just off. And my only conclusion is that his judgment is just off, that he probably doesn't like the president at all. And so he's taking positions based off of his feelings about that and not about actually what is the best thing to say in that situation from a public policy perception. Yeah. What is the correct word there? Man.
Luis Alarid says shut down his finances, Dr. Fussy. Kevin Wimmer says Seth sent you example from today of a trade I took in quick rule set.
Okay, let's see. I'm going to read it to myself here. Okay, so already from the first sentence, it's that does sound like a setup, but we would need to quantify it, right? Oh wait, what instrument are you doing this on? Can't tell here. That's the E-mini. Okay, would be break of the high. Yeah. Okay. So we can work it out. It's just a little harder. So just remember when I say like a specific setup, like it needs to be quantified. So like you were saying in here, you need a clear long impulse, like several green candles. There needs to be, some sort of a way of quantifying that. Like if we have X green candles in a row, normally though you would want to use some sort of an indicator, like probably CCI, right? When the CCI, you've got a good long impulse on the CCI, then yeah, so it looks like you're saying break of that range, and then it's just a range play. So I'll program it up. I think I know what it's going to turn out, though. I think that it's actually probably going to be turned closer to a 50-50 trade than you might think. We can backtest it, though. And in the overnight market, it would be interesting, too. It's interesting that you want to do that in the overnight market. But
Undefined says who you voting for in 2020, Trump, Biden, or Kanye? Kevin Wimmer says yep, it's not complicated but one of my favorite setups. And look, I only risked 5 ticks and made 15T in this example. Could have played it twice.
Yeah. I definitely understand the setup. It's something that I've tried before. It's not something that I've like actively studied or anything, but makes sense. So one of the things that's kind of hard is that or it's kind of interesting is that some of the things that just make sense to us, like, oh, look, there's a range here and I can just sell it from here. But actually quantifying that programmatically is a little bit more complicated than you might think. But I have my ways, so we can do it, right? Because I would want to sit down and I would say, okay, CCI gives us a certain amount of trend, and then I see it pull back. Like, especially if I can get it like ATR or something like that to define the range. And then I can sit down and I can say, okay, it's already touched that once. I don't want to take it. And I even know this setup because so you're saying it comes up like this, and then when it comes in, it does this, and you want to take from here to here essentially. But you can also get this, right? That one would stop you out, or you can also get this, right? And that would be a loser. And hopefully your stop should be closer than your target. And 5 to 15 risk reward ratio makes sense. But then in order for this trade to really work out, it's a question of how often does it bounce there. It would need to bounce probably about 40% of the time. Or more than 40% of the time. And I think we're going to find that sometimes
Kevin
in
Wimmer
some
says, yep,
markets
but
it
the
works
last
and
example
sometimes it
usually
doesn't.
doesn't come because I wanted to range before. Usually the last one is AV reversal.
Yeah, okay, sure. But you can still have this, right? It can still be a part.
Kevin Wimmer says, like, you have the green move and then bam, red move.
Yeah. You can still do it. That one, what you're talking about though, because I have a lot of blanks that I have to fill in, it might take me a bit. I don't know when. I might have some time tonight to do that. So I don't think anything's happening. I don't think that we're going to be working on the chicken coop tonight. This earnings calendar is pretty good. Market Chameleon, I'm going to book.
Kevin Wimmer says, yeah, and I go break even aggressive. Like 8T in my favor or after we break the high and I want more.
Sure. Which I've done, and I've found I've back tested the moving your stop to break even, and that's back tested actually really well. Adds about in the right strategy. It doesn't work for every strategy, but in the right strategy, it adds like 0.3% or like 0.3. What do we call it? Profit factor. It'll increase your profit factor by like 0.3 in a lot of cases. Okay, so I think I can come in here and kind of make some estimates now. So the downside target is 3,100. The upside target is 3,163.
Kevin Wimmer says, and this isn't a setup which comes every day. I would say like on average twice a week or maybe 3 times.
Oh, really? I would think it would be more common than that. In fact, I would think that it's something that I see almost every day. Depends on how big of a up move that you have, though. But that's where we can go in and we can say, okay, that CCI. So do this for me, since I don't know if I'll be able to look at it until tonight. There's no, I sent it to you. I sent it to you. I send you. Oh no, wait. Are you on NinjaTrader? You're on Sierra Charts, aren't you? Yeah, that looks like not NinjaTrader. You want adaptive CCI. You could just add a regular CCI.
Kevin Wimmer says, like for instance yesterday was no setup by my rules on the Amini.
Right. I would use a CCI. CCI is probably the best way to quantify the strength of a move. So, especially if you can use an adaptive CCI. So you get an adaptive CCI and put it on
Kevin
there.
Wimmer says, what's CCI by the way, and yeah, I use Sierra Chart.
Okay, let me show you one. Oh, I have one. I have one on here. Just make it a little bit bigger. So the very bottom is the CCI. I have a bunch of colors on here just to show you. So like when the CCI is increasing, you get the blue, and when it's decreasing, you get kind of the yellowish, and vice versa on the red and the pink. And then there's this super smoother on here just to kind of filter out the noise. Okay. But you can see I've got like the 0 point and then 200. So you can see that when a move gets to about 200, that's a really strong trend that, has a certain possibility of flipping around. So especially when I'm looking for turns, CCI is one way to kind of look and see if it's overbought or oversold or whatever, right? But it's one of those things where, like this right here is a really good example, right? Okay. Strong trend down. Ooh, really, really strong trend down. And now
Kevin
the
Wimmer
strength
says, yeah,
of the
found a
trend is
CCI
decreasing.
study in Sierra Chart. Gonna test it now. Think I am done for today in trading.
And then it turns down again, and here you can see, okay, the strength of the move is actually less. And here again and again. And then here again, and then it turns around. Right? Now this move was stronger. So, but the point is that the thing that's nice about the CCI is that it quantifies for you how strong that trend was relative to what else is going on. So if we're looking for a move, and let's see if I can find one. So I think that the spot that you were looking at was over here, right? So here you can sit down and you can say, if I had a move up or whatever, here in this instance, it got over 100, right? It got over 100, and now it's just been ranging for so and so long. And I think that you want to come and get it long in here. I think, though, in this case, you want to take this one, right? You want to sit down and say, okay, I want it
Kevin
to
Wimmer
break
says,
that
yeah,
low
seems to
and
be
then
the spot.
reverse.
The CCI on Sierra is not working for me.
Oh, that's kind of weird. Well, yours will look a little bit different from mine, because what the adaptive CCI does is it kind of adjusts for the time period, because the quantization artifacts created by, are you using a 1 minute or a 5 minute chart sort of a thing, can really affect a signal
Kevin
like
Wimmer
that.
says mine's not showing at all, lol, like a blank
Oh,
area.
really? That's kind of weird. That is kind of weird. I don't know. Anyways, but when you get an adaptive CCI, it adjusts to the quantization so that you don't get those artifacts, and you end up with a faster and more responsive indicator. Anyways, I was like, why am I not seeing the tick? Now I can see the tick. And I can see that the tick is is actually pretty negative still. So I'm a little skeptical about the downside, but the way that it's trading through here, let's see if I can get a good spot. No, that's not a good spot. Gee, man. I could not have done that worse. Okay. Here's the open. Oh, interesting. I think that trade I was a little, I should have been way more, I should have thought about it a lot more. I'm thinking that the downside target is 3,100 and that they're still going to go down there.
Kevin Wimmer says I found one. Wood is CCI. My entry was right when they broke this green line. Posted screen.
Yes. Oh, Woody CCI, that's funny. I remember there was this whole thing about that guy. I think that my recollection was that Woody had built an indicator that was actually a pretty good indicator, and he had this trading room with all these people in trading with this one indicator that he had. And then it turned out that he was giving people the signal and he was actively trading against his own indicator. And then if my recollection is correct, that was with Woody. I think John told me that story. Apparently it was a big scandal way, way, way back before our time. But the one that you might, so an adaptive CCI, you might also have it as Euler's CCI because it's a Euler indicator. Well, not too happy about that move, but it's kind of looking like noise.
Kevin Wimmer says it's the only working CCI I am finding right now, lol.
It's interesting that your regular CCI, is that regular CCI built into Sierra charts? I don't know anything about debugging indicators in Sierra charts, like if there's an output window that will display errors to you or a log file or something. You would think that would
Kevin
work.
Wimmer says yeah.
Okay, well, I'm not seeing anything too concerning, but it seems a little quiet. Dang. Seems a little stoppy, doesn't it? Yeah. These guys are trying to dislodge each other. Bill Gross is COVID free and betting the farm on value over growth.
Kevin Wimmer says that's why I prefer the overnight. For me, it's usually easier to read, less risk and slower.
Yeah, as soon as I take it. No. I don't know about this. I might be on the wrong side of this. I might just need to turn around and go along. $8:21. I should realize the time. Yeah. Okay, so I need to sit on this for a bit.
Undefined says what's your PL today?
So if we include all of those, then that was just break even. Really shouldn't have. Some of these I really shouldn't have taken. Because I'm not really getting like a clear, like a really clear situation. Think that I am, but then I'm not. But I do have one coming up here, so. The treasuries are coming off.
Kevin Wimmer says been sitting here for 7 hours and still only 2 trades lol. I am selective.
Yeah. So and my problem is that sometimes I will just get into this mode where I take a lot. Because I really shouldn't be taking a lot of trades. Well, that's interesting.
Kevin Wimmer says I know this mood. That's when I switch to sim and try stuff.
Right. But I feel like that then sometimes I develop bad habits from doing that. You know what I mean? Ugh. Dang it. That was going so well. Okay.
Undefined says you've been kind of forcing the long in the S&P all day.
Sometimes you just wrong timing. I was taking it short earlier. So those ones before the open, I don't know what I was thinking when I think back on it. Okay. So that's really positive looking. Where I caught was really good too. So let's see here. Oh, we do have bill auctions today still. Okay, that's good to know. Okay. So 37 has kind of been the spot. Why does this get ruined? It's like sometimes there's definitely a bug in my indicator. Yeah, 38. Mm-mm-mm. Well, treasuries still look like maybe they want to push down, but they just haven't gotten enough people to get on yet. Oh, come on. Almost. Makes me feel a lot more comfortable. Uh, Where are we looking again? 62. Okay. So they're going to go for that previous high now. Yesterday's close. Ooh, that's somebody puked there. wish that I really do wish that Jigsaw had a way of showing if they were stop orders, because that to me seemed like clear stops, but I can't really say for sure. When it goes in a tight area, is it really? Okay. So some distribution at 47. Again, the yesterday's close is going to fight. And they don't want it to get above yesterday's close. But I think in the end, yeah. So yesterday's close was like what? 48. 48 and a quarter, something like that. Yeah. Look at that. Some stops there. Okay. Let's manage this a little bit. Okay, we're getting coronavirus cases. Much less than yesterday. This is going to skyrocket. Should I add more? I could literally write like right there at like, let's say 52. A little nervous about adding. Okay. Okay, the positivity was higher though, 15.02% versus 11.51. Rise by 3.3% versus 7-day average of 4.6%. So they're good. I think that this is going to push the market up. I probably could add here, but I have such a good runner. Like, why risk it? I don't really need to add more risk here. Already doing great today. Okay, so deaths is increasing, 132 versus 35 yesterday. This is in line though. So again, what I'm expecting to see throughout the week, we'll see low cases today, probably tomorrow. Thursday and Friday it'll pick up, but it will come back to the average and we won't have excessive cases like we did last week. You will see deaths rise though, because deaths is a lagging indicator and we had so many cases the past 2 weeks. You are going to see more deaths. 132 is a lot though. Like that's a pretty big increase. But again, not a concern for me. Pelosi says she is willing to delay recess for stimulus talks. Good deal. That's really, really good. It's kind of good and it's kind of bad because it means that they're not nearly as close to a deal as they've been trying to lead us all to believe. Oops, I missed if we were coming over in here.
Kevin Wimmer says honestly I would love if the market crashed once more. Missed to buy stocks the first time because I thought it would go lower.
Right.
Feels bad, man.
Well, I'm still kind of in this like, hey, are we gonna have like a real? I'm getting a lot of clicking here. Hold on. Huh. That's a little interesting. Well, I don't like the way that turned. Just like, well, let's see if it turns back up really quick again. But we may just have to take our profits. Because I have to say, I think the Florida cases should have propelled us higher than it did. Okay. Hmm. Okay, so again, I seeing a bunch of news that I think is
Sunday Driver
positive, and
says
I'm
it will
not
crash again.
seeing
Soon, soon, soon. Skull, skull, and crossbones.
the buying strength that I think I should. They're kind of holding it here, but with them that close, the chances of them trying to come down and stop me out are pretty high. Let's just remember that. They are clicking around a lot, so the market maker is fiddling with them. I think, yeah, darn.
Sunday Driver says, is there a way to do sound effects? Like an evil laugh.
Yeah, I think we could add them. We could make like a soundboard. You need to like, man, like finding the right ones would be hard because they would have to be royalty free and stuff. So let's do this. Where is it? They're going to stop me out and then they're going to go up, huh? Yeah, go to freesound.org and like find me some links and post them in the video comments or like send them to me on
Speculator Seth
Discord.
Day Trading says.
Probably should send them to me on Discord. That sucks. They took me out first. Well, no. Andrew Como posting some numbers from New York. That kind of action is a little. So that last little slip there, I think, was off of the Florida positivity rate. Some of the squawks were reporting it late. Come on. Oh, you're so close, buddy. There we go. Nice. Okay. Kind of some fast absorption there, to be honest, though. There still looks like some technical traders trying to hold this yesterday's close area. Like you can see that they busted the high again, but on lower cumulative delta. In fact, it's selling here. I think I want to hold this because the numbers seem to indicate to me an imbalance that could result in some really favorable stop runs higher. So the reward, potential upside reward, I think is really good at the moment. Might not get it, but and again, it's in line with all of the coronavirus numbers seem to be coming in good. We are past the reversal time frame now, or we're about to. So I think that this was they reversed there, and they'll probably just continue to move up. And I think that we will eventually move up to our upside target at the 62 area. It's pretty slippery. Hmm.
Ace Trades says, hey kids.
Hey, Ace, how are you? Did you do well today? It's been a pretty slippery day. Somebody seems to be fighting it really hard here, but I really think he's gonna lose.
Ace Trades says, did well today, got a lot of both S and NQ.
Really? Interesting. You got some good trends though, huh? Well, it's really slippery here. You're getting a lot of swings.
Ace Trades says it's fun to show off in front of the room, makes up for the times everyone watches me tank 3 trades in a row.
Right? Well, I've done reasonably well today, but it's not. It's
Ace Trades
it's
says
not
short
quite going as well as I'd like.
3,150.
Oh, you do? You got a short there? Well, yeah, I can see that one. I'm a little, I don't know. I'm seeing a couple of things in the tape that make me think that they're gonna make a run at the highs. Okay, so there they just canceled it at that one out, huh? Yeah. Okay. Oh, come on. You're so
Ace
close.
Trades says ouch.
Uzi Knesset says oof.
Okay. So there was a new high. They did not really freak out there. I think they'll try it again. Oof. The voice that Uzi uses is great. You know, I worked with a lot of Indian people at Goldman Sachs, and I kind of I don't know how to describe it. There's something comforting about the Indian accent. You know what I mean? They're good people. Okay, yeah. So
Ace Trades says I feel the same. It's like comforting to hear.
Uzi Knesset says I love Indian people. I legit made friends with the guys who scam me. We commiserated over COVID lockdowns once for like 30 minutes lol.
I need to get out of this. They're gonna do it again. I'm hearing some bad headlines going over my squawk now. So I think that I need to get out of that.
Kevin Wimmer says 45 more minutes and I am done for the day. Maybe I will have a third trade, maybe I won't.
I still want more. Feeling kind of greedy, but I don't know if my performance really justifies it. Right here. So one
Ace
of the
Trades
headlines
says at Kevin Wimmer, how has it gone?
One of the headlines was big banks predict more economic pain from coronavirus. I also was hearing what was it? Philadelphia to ban all major public events through February 2021. So these are things that I don't think are like a huge deal, but but they did seem to be creating some temporary bearish sentiment.
Kevin
Now,
Wimmer says
again, if they
215
push
picks
for the
winner in the
high,
Amini with 3 lots. So pretty good.
it does look like somebody in the E-mini is pushing it, trying to push it up. We were long from 50.
Ace Trades says at Kevin Wimmer great job.
I do believe that we will go to 3162 eventually.
Kevin
But
Wimmer
timing
says
it.
in your day. I mean you trade this crazy NQ.
Yeah, I can't believe that you were trading NQ.
Cozy Knesset says every public gathering just needs to rebrand itself as ABLM protest and good to go tongue out.
Gary Rich says your performance deserves you to shut this channel down. Shut this Titanic shipwreck down before it hits the icebergs.
Oh, Gary, are you mad?
Ace Trades says at Kevin Wimmer ya caught a lot of that up movement in the NQ. It's starting to win my heart.
You bought Tesla yesterday, didn't you? You bought Tesla yesterday, didn't you? You sound upset. Talk to me. What happened? I'm positive today. Oh, do it. Come on. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Well, I think that justifies a scratch. I'm a happier than a pig in shit. Why are you complaining? You know what? Sometimes I'll take a bad trade, but overall it worked out. It might go higher and I might miss this, so it's unfortunate, but yeah. It's okay. They're still not flushing them yet. It's really interesting to me. Like, look at this guy absorbing against them the whole way. Fine. I don't want to fight this guy. He's probably going to lose, but I don't want to fight him. Tick is coming down. Even there. And now 1,000? No. I'm seeing enough. I think that I may just be getting a little FOMO-y because I really wanted to get to 100 today and I'm at 60 right now. So I really could have done a lot better, but it was still positive. I don't know. Probably better in this case to wait for another push back down, and we could still take another trade today. But let's wait for a better setup. And let's check on the Tesla. I should just add it over to this chart. Okay. So they actually did push down a little bit, but they're slightly up. They seem to be recovering.
Kevin Wimmer says go all in short NQ.
Okay. NQ scares the hell out of me. I don't think I'll ever touch that one. Okay. So they came way back down there now. I had that one that was at 31.55 that I kind of missed. Oh, no, wait. We're well below that. Or was that other one? The one before that that did well was 31.35. I need to adjust this cost basis indicator. Look, it disappears. See, it's right there. It's like it died. Something happens and it doesn't think that it gets a result for some reason that it can't show. And then it dies out. If I refresh it all, so I got a bug somewhere. This is going to be a really hard bug to find because it doesn't error where I think it is. Okay, so can you see how ever since that move, let's say 840, yeah, that was that initial move up, and then ever since then the market making has actually been going short. I wish I could get that to show on this chart. Maybe I'll change things so that it does. So that it runs on each tick and everything. That'll be the task for the day, huh? Oh, we ran out of requests. NQ moved 300 points today. That's 1,200 ticks. Dom and chart must be so volatile. Good luck. Yeah. I really think that to trade NQ, you would need the Dom to consolidate prices. You know what I mean? Only show you handles and not the in-betweens. So yeah, it looks like the technical traders are like really were really stubborn up there. But I'm still looking at it and thinking that there's not a whole lot of reason that price should matter anymore, to be honest. Okay, what the heck is it? So Nassim Nicholas Taleb just tweeted something that I don't understand what he's talking about at all, and I really want to know now. New mathematics for the Lindy effect, expressed as absorbing barrier, extinction barrier. This is the intuition of the method. Huge results once we use Gersonov to include drift or switch to geometric Brownian motion. What is the Lindy effect? I've never heard of that before. Lindy effect. Theory that the future life expectancy of some non-perishable things like a technology or idea is proportional to their current age, so that every additional period of survival implies a longer remaining life expectancy. I can see how that would maybe be useful in trading. For like, how long can a trend continue? Add that to my list of things. Well, you're getting an okay spot here. What, you want me to open up an NQ DOM? Sure. Why not? I don't know if I'm actually, I see a buy, but I don't know if I really want it right there. So I'm hearing Moderna news. This is gonna go. Hasn't hit Twitter yet. Let's see how long it takes to hit Twitter. Like freaking NQ. This is just like immediately you pull it out, and I'm like, yeah, that's exactly why I'm not touching it. Look at that thing. The E-mini, frankly, is moving a little bit too quickly at the moment. I was in that a little bit late. Yeah, let's ditch it. Okay. Well, that worked. That was that. I got really lucky there. No. Fuck. Okay, hold up. I don't think it can handle the NQ. Good grief. Okay. Why is he doing that? There must be something else going on, because that is a really weird action. Okay, yeah, we're closing this down because it's slowing things down. It's too much data. Hmm. Is it the case that I just heard Moderna and I got in and they're saying this time it doesn't matter? I don't know. It's the first time that I've actually seen it fight vaccine news. You know? And I didn't actually see it. Okay, so now Live Squawk is tweeting it. Moderna to begin phase 3 virus vaccine trial on the 27th of July. Trial will enroll 30,000 people at high infection risk. Aha. Now they're catching on. Well, I tell you what, it would be pretty spectacular if they went up to the highs, but they still seem to be having trouble doing it. Okay, the Chinese tweeting a bunch of crap. Whew. That's a pretty detailed analysis I have to go into later. Come on. Okay. So they made an okay push there, and now they're coming back. Okay, some demand there again. No. You need to reset this here because seems to be a little. They seem to be battling it. They seem to be unsure, even though it's. I don't. In my mind, what should be happening right now seems so clear, but the market is fighting it a little bit. So I need to be cautious because, what I think should happen and what the market is actually doing are not in line. That means I could be wrong, but I might just be earlier, or it might just be that not everybody is completely aware of what's going on. Okay, that one was better. They're really close to the high, but just not quite getting up there yet. This thing is so coiled up that if they do it, I don't know if 62 will be enough. They might need to go up to 95. Ugh. 3190. Actually, 3195 wouldn't be a bad spot. Okay, so I'm still seeing reasonable balance here. There actually was. Now I take that back. How did that happen? It was about 600 contracts. Was that about 600 contracts? No, it says that it was more about 1,000 contracts down there. I don't know about that, dude. Okay, well, point of control for this session just moved up on the micros. Let's look at a footprint chart. Yeah, 31, 51, 25. There you got about 15,000 is traded there now. Huh. If not even Moderna knows is enough to break them up at the high, then that's something else. It's not like completely falling apart per se, but it's time to be a man, close all the bond doms, and E-mini, you're going to be an NQ only trader. Wells City down, JP Morgan up. Well, that all came out before market, right? We were reading all that at the beginning of our trading session. I don't think that the bank earnings were all that positive, to be honest, because the ones that made money, why did they make money? Trading revenues. So that, like, the future growth prospect of them, I think, is a little questionable, you know? Okay. Getting another little buy going on here. Okay. Getting a trade headline there. Good, but not necessarily significant, and I'm not seeing the tape react to it, so. Who's that? Somebody slamming around upstairs. Ouch. As soon as we got down there, I started getting the clicks again. And somebody working the bid. Oh, do you see the liquidity pile up down there? You see it down at 31.45? Hello, dear. Oh, you just went blanket. She doesn't want to be seen by the camera. Okay. So, pretty big move down, and now, well, it was a pretty big move up, and then a pretty big move down, and then a pretty big move back to balance. Maybe they continue up. I don't know. This whole thing is kind of a little wild, isn't it? Well, we got London closing in about 10 minutes. Ooh, yeah. They must be working on that construction across the behind us because house is shaking and I keep getting earthquake flashbacks. Well, here's Arizona news. Okay. There's actually a little higher than previous. Surprised I'm not seeing more volume here. Did I just get it like really early? Oh, go for it. Go for it. Clicky click. No. I want out. Yeah, I think that the Arizona case doesn't sound like a good number. I'm not seeing it on Twitter yet, but I heard it on my squawk, and it was higher than the previous day's cases, which was not the case with the Florida cases. And then there was some selling there and everything. I didn't get what I wanted. Didn't get what I wanted. I don't know if it's going to happen, guys, because it's probably by the time I give up, then it's going to go, right? That's the way it tends to be. There must be some London traders with some significant interest here. Maybe they get blown out at the last second. I don't know. Cool. Oh, I mean, so I'm not in it anymore, but I just really want to see that high broken, right? Well, that looks a little promising. Yeah. So this is going to be interesting, um, because I'm hearing the Arizona cases, and I have not seen the squawks posted on Twitter. When we see the Arizona cases hit Twitter, are they going to sell? The number that I'm hearing is not like a disaster, but it does sound to me like something that should push the market down. So I'm just going to wait. Do see gold moving up a little bit today, by the way. Getting ready for the crude London settlement, and then I am done. Yeah, London coming up here in 5 minutes has got to be a big part of why it's doing what it is. That and there's bill auctions. Okay. Some volume there. Yeah, that's not pretty. That right there is exactly what we were trying to avoid. Because I was actually a little early. If I had left it on a bit, I could have gotten a better exit. So this is interesting. It's been a while since I felt like I had news before a lot of other people had news. And it's interesting to see the way that it is running. Jackson O'Leary just getting into futures. Hey, cool. Turn back now. Save yourself. I'm just kidding. I have a video. You know what? Like one of my things is like this isn't something that you want to convince people into doing, right? Like this is something that is like if you do futures, you should be telling them do everything like you should be doing everything you can to convince them that it's a bad idea. And if even after all of that they still want to do it, then maybe they could be successful at it. But this is as a tough business, man. Trading is hard. We are. It does look like it's turning down, but they're still not. They're still not freaking out. Okay, so now Forex Live tweets Arizona cases 4,273 versus 1,357 yesterday. Okay. So Seth wants you to trade. Gosh, dang it, Kevin. No. You're gonna get some bill auctions in the London close here in a minute, and then we'll probably see a little bit of a change in the market. Yeah, no, just put all of your money into an index fund and invest every month, and that's the safe route. That's what you should do. If you really want to make money, that's what you should do. If you want to get good at trading, trade futures. I've done stocks for a couple of years. Options for another. Futures is the natural progression. Okay. Okay. Well, so I'll tell you what. Oh, wait, hold on. So now, yeah, this is so funny. I am hearing stuff. Ugh. Okay. So earlier we have talked about squawks because I wanted to get Rand squawk or some other squawk, and my data connection just reset, and I was kind of skeptical about it. I was like, I don't know. Like when I took the trial, I was like, I don't know if I'm really getting the news faster than anybody else. And if it's really like a big enough deal that I can't just use Twitter. No, I'm getting some of these headlines like 5 minutes before they hit Twitter. 5 minutes before I actually see like real responses in the E-mini, in fact. So like this just now, Arizona coronavirus cases 4,273 versus 1,357. That was like 20 minutes ago now. Yeah, that was about 20 minutes ago. So, seems like it is worth it. Now, of course, there's clearly some things that I've got to learn about it now because I take a trade and the rest of the market doesn't know about it yet. And so where I want to take it kind of becomes interesting. I don't know if they're going to completely roll over because even though the numbers that I'm hearing are bad, they're not like the end of the world. So, and the bias is going to be up right now. Like we're above that yesterday's close and everything. Yeah, they're probably going to try and make a run for 31.63 and then we are so coiled up here. If they break it, I wouldn't put that 31.95 out of the question either. Anyways, so Jackson, I don't know if you're still there, but I'll give you my take. Because here's the thing with futures. Futures are become a vehicle for technical traders, right? Especially because you have order flow, which kind of opens up a whole new world of analysis. So people that want to be able to trade something based purely off of the information that they're receiving from the market are going to be attracted to futures because they get more information from the market. But my position is that really you need to be able to look at everything, including, coronavirus cases, economic news, political news, news headlines, fundamentals, looking at other instruments. So this is another one that I think a lot of people miss is that they say, well, we should just look at the one instrument that we're trading, but I don't think that that's true. You want to look at everything and because it's a very complicated system. So that's the way that I trade it is the news. Now, the trading news is hard. Interpreting news is hard. It's not just something that I can just give you like a straight formula to do, right? It's something that has a lot to do with your critical thinking skills and how much you know. Okay, so there is finally the move that I've been waiting this whole time for, but we weren't able to take because of reasons. And there's 6. That's going to be 63. A little bit further. Yeah, they're still absorbing against it. Well, no, you know what? Like, but look at how much volume is going long into it. And Jackson says true. That was really strong volume. Yeah, if I had held on to that last one, the one that I had from 31.44, you know what? It was coming back quite a bit. And there was some bad news. So I think that my trade to get out is justified. But I think I had the right read, right? These guys were like way crazy short and they were going to try and bust them. Now I was saying it's so coiled up that 31.95 is not out of the question, but that they did not really bust out quite the way that I like. There was a little bit of a stop run, but there was still a lot of absorption on it, and I'm not really seeing like super aggressive changes in, say, the treasuries. For instance, the treasuries aren't coming all the way back down. Treasuries are still higher than they were when they started this morning. When they started back at like where were we in the 10-year? We started at 09 in the 10-year. We're still a good 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're still a good 10 ticks higher. And I can see there's a pretty big distribution through yesterday that we're just coming to now. So their ability to hit 31.95 off of the way that they just did that looks diminished, should we say. So, yeah. Even though that stop run was like exactly what I was looking for, and I felt good about it, I was a little disappointed. Well, and I was a little disappointed in what I got today because some of these, which one was it? I think it was this one in particular came back a lot. And also all of this stuff right here is just didn't work quite as the way I wanted. Some of these, yeah. So let me think back on it. So like this one was okay. But this one is like, what the hell was I thinking? Those barely even went anywhere in my favor. So I think I'm getting a little bit, I still have a little bit too much of this trade against the trend kind of tendency. So I think we can work on that. I just need to watch it. That's what I'm going to have to watch tomorrow. We're doing good on the news, but I'm getting so much news now. And sometimes and I don't know when it's not hitting the whole market at the same time. So we're going to have to do some playback analysis of that. I actually do think even though we went higher that I made the right decision by getting it out around 31.54. Okay, so can you recommend any videos on futures? So if you go to my main channel page, I have like some I have like an education list. I actually might need to update that a little bit, but those are kind of the videos where I talk about things that matter, I guess. I have one video that is just getting started in futures that's going to tell you, kind of goes over all of the resources that you really need in terms of like brokers and different forums that have good information and stuff along those lines. I don't know. I have a bunch of videos on there. There's still a bunch that I need to make. I try not to give you, so some things are like opinion, you know what I mean? Like I can go in and I can say VWAP is a really great indicator to use. Well, there's some use for it, but you know, that alone probably won't make it profitable. So I try to avoid that kind of content and only go into content that is, I know is for sure information and will help everybody. So, the one that I have about using implied volatility, that one is really, really good. Or that's really important facet of my strategy, let's say. That was the main reason why I felt so strongly that we were still going to break that high again. So those are kind of places that I would look. But a lot of it, honestly, Jackson, is you just gotta look at it. Like learning how the market responds to news really requires understanding the news, understanding the market, seeing how it goes along. Sanctioning Beijing over South China Sea not off the table. It's coming through. Man, I'm still seeing a lot of nationwide cash and coin shortage stories, which is kind of weird that I don't hear more about that in the media. Okay, well, anyways, I'm kind of blabbing now. I think I think I know what I got to work on, and I did do okay. It wasn't bad. I mean, it was positive in the end, but it needs a lot of work. That's a lot of trades and a lot of bad runs. But the good news is I'm getting out of good spots, relatively okay spots. So yeah. I will see you guys tomorrow. I'll work on my inventory indicator, and hopefully work with Kevin on that strategy that he's got to show him why technical analysis tends not to work. And I'm gonna stop tomorrow. Stay profitable, friends.